Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Panchakalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and mothers. I'd like to welcome you to join this session of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. Nice to see you all. Prahladananda Prabhu, Bhakta Phil, Jai Prabhu, Mother Padma Devi, Somen Prabhu, Ajit Prabhu, and Kamniya Krishna Prabhu, and another Philip from Tampa, I'm assuming. Hare Krishna Ajit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, this is the Philip from Tampa.
Okay,
Glad to be here.
good to see you, Prabhu. So, we are on chapter 9, Bhagavad Gita as it is. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, this is a beautiful chapter. This is all about bhakti. So let us begin with folded hand. We are praying to Krishna, who is known as Vasudev, is a predominator of consciousness. So once our consciousness is pure, then we can easily understand ourself, God, or first God, then ourself, and this material nature, and then we'll be able to live harmonious while we are here and go back home, back to Godhead at the end of our life. So let us begin by praying to Lord Vasudev to give us, help us to have a clear consciousness all the time. Om Ajna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayesu Avadresu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukham Karati Vachalam Pangulangayate Girim Jatkripatamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isharam Vancha kalpataruvescha kripa sindhupayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Okay, so chapter 9 is entitled as the most confidential knowledge. There is sometimes misunderstanding that devotion to God It's just a sentiment. But Bhagavatam does not say that. Bhagavatam says that when we perform devotional service or we are engaged in devotional service, then our sambandha knowledge about God, Krishna, knowledge about us, our relationship, and knowledge about this material nature where we are bound are very clear. That means knowledge has to manifest. And if knowledge is not manifesting through devotional service, and then clear cut understanding about the material nature where detachment develops. Detachment doesn't mean you don't do anything. Detachment means you are engaging everything to please Krishna. You don't have sole proprietorship. Even your own house, even your own car, even your own body, you think is for Krishna's pleasure, for Guru Vaishnav's pleasure. I'm going to sacrifice my body, my mind, my house, my car, whatever, or my money, everything. So ownership changes. That is called detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you reject and go away. Whatever you are born with, just like Arjuna, he's born with a quality to fight, and he was trying to get out of it. It didn't work. Krishna says, no, you have to engage what you are born with because it will pound back. It will go with you. You can leave the place, but it's going with you, your karma. So when you engage it, utilize it, then you can definitely um, purify. Purify means it is pleasing Krishna. Purification doesn't mean only chanting or sprinkle some water or offering in the fire. Those are also part of it. But the main point is it is for the pleasure of Krishna. So in the first sloka, we, just to refresh, we are starting from, I think, from 7 we are going to start today. So first sloka, just to remember, Krishna says the most confidential knowledge in both its intellectual and experiential dimensions. Krishna told Arjuna that I shall impart to you because only one qualification is most important, the most important, non-envious. So now we can reverse that. If somebody don't understand Bhagavad Gita because they have a still enviousness, jealousy, Prabhupada was asked this question by Siddhaswarup Prabhu, what is envious means. So Prabhupada says, it's in better ways you can read very details and paraphrasing. That when someone has a rightful ownership to possess something, say somebody is beautiful or somebody has a lot of money or somebody has very high intelligence or whatever, but in my mind, I cannot allow, I don't like that person to grow. Even amongst devotees, possible, just by joining in the movement, we are purifying slowly, slowly. Not that I have purified completely, I'm done. No, not yet. So if somebody is more advanced than me, I should feel happy. Mudam lipshet. Gunadika mudam lipshet. When somebody has a better qualification, I should feel happy. If somebody don't have enough intelligence to progress, I should feel compassionate. If it is not happening, that means I'm not advancing. So it's very interesting. This chapter, chapter 9, is the most confidential knowledge. It's actually bhakti, especially um, from chapter 7 till 12. But 9 is like a middle of the middle, the most important. So Krishna hit the point that because you are non-envious, Arjuna, so I'll reveal you the most confidential knowledge. So why somebody understand better than me? Because they are more non-envious. Actually, Bhagavatam also depicts Nirmat Saranam Satam, Veddam Vastavam Atravastu. To understand Krishna as absolute substance, we have to be and relish. You know how you relish knowledge, spiritual knowledge? Through austerity. If you are disciplined, then actually you will feel satisfaction within heart. That is also there. So there it says Nirmat Saranam Satam, those saintly devotee, because they are non-envious. Now, in technically, a lot of people don't understand when we say non-envious. Like Bhoktaram Jagatavasam Sarvaloka Mahesha. Krishna says, I am the Bhokta, I am the enjoyer of all the things. Like we eat food. If we don't eat honor offered to Krishna, we are envy. Now, how that differ? Because the idea of envy means, just like that professor said, I'm not envious to God. I have nothing to do with that. Just He is God. I am keeping myself aloof from Him. But then I asked, did you eat this morning? He said, yes. Did you offer it to God? He said, no. Why do I have to offer to God? I said, that's what God wants. God wants you to offer because everything belongs to Him. So he said, Govind, I work very hard. I get paycheck on Friday. Why do I have to offer to God? I work for it. So then you have to sit down and give him whole explanation that, look, you didn't choose to take birth. You didn't choose to be intelligent. You may think like it came with you, but which part did you choose? Where is the proof? You are given, karmana daiva netrena, by the arrangement of Krishna, you are given this facility and you're not utilizing it. Utilizing means you offer to God. And if you don't offer to God, then you will not be ultimately peaceful. You will be disturbed. So when you offer before we eat to God, it's sign of non-envious. Very practical sense. Then when we eat other living entity, other human being as a soul belongs to God, then we are non-envy. But if I am not respecting others, they belong to God, then it is also envy. So first sloka Krishna says, because you are non-envious, you will be recipient, perfect candidate to receive this confidential knowledge. So this is very clear. Then the second sloka Krishna says, it is the king of knowledge. So our lifestyle, what drives behind our lifestyle? We should ask. What drives our purpose? What purpose driven our life? What purpose drives our life? It should be king. It should be bhakti. It should be Krishna bhakti, but in a balanced lifestyle. Balanced lifestyle. Not like I do one thing and I don't do other thing. You have to have a balance, everything. Just like to have this body function properly, you have to have a digestive system. Eating is good, but digestion is also important, or maybe more important. So you have to have a digestive system has to work properly. You have to have a respiratory system has to work properly. You have to have a like skeleton system. If you say, well, my bone broke, but I can eat and digest, that's not going to work. You will be in pain. So in order for a physical body to function, you have to have all the system in balance. Then you are healthy. Similarly, in our spiritual path, we have to have all these things in balance. That's why I mentioned, I think, last week. It is not like, if you think like, what is the power? How do you define a advancing devotee? Well, let me ask you a question. Like, if you think of what is the power of military, it's a good example because I was talking to this officer who is a Prabhupada's disciple. He was a big Navy officer before he met Prabhupada, and eventually he got out of it. But I learned a lot of things. I said, what is the power of the military? Well, they have to join the training. They have to do a lot of, they have like a whole bunch of different curriculum and stages you have to go through. So now, if the general asks, hey, how is the strength of military? Oh, they're all good. Now there is a war, and we have 1 million soldier, but only 10,000 eager to go. Rest don't want to go. Well, you don't have a military strength there. But they went through all the training. Yeah, they eat on time. They work, they do all the things. You can go on list. But what the purpose? What purpose drive the military? When it's needed, they have to be in the war. So if you have only 10,000 out of million, you are actually not balanced. It is not proper. It's not, there is no military strength. So now, if devotee has if somebody is saying, I'm advancing, are you becoming Krishna conscious? Are you thinking of Krishna? Or do you see Krishna relationship in everyone with everything? Are you developing attraction to chant? Are you developing a compassionate, naturally happening to bring other soul to you? And then at the end of your life, you going back to Krishna. Are you all prepared to that? If it is not, then it is not actually, job is not done. The purpose was not clear. So when I say it has to be healthy, just like if you think very deeply, if you give a child, if you give a child all the healthy food, if the child is there, say 1 year old child, you have a healthy food, juice, child body is fit, everything. Do you have to tell the child, hey, I'm feeding you all healthy food, grow, come on, grow? Do you have to tell the child, or child will grow naturally if you have a healthy, all the facility for the child to grow? You don't have to tell the child. Child will grow. Am I right, Phil? If you provide all the healthy environment and food and everything, child will grow. You don't have to tell the child and command, hey, come on, child. Are you growing or not? It will grow. If the child is not growing, now you think very deeply. If the child is not growing and you feeding the child, you giving all the facility to the child, and child is not growing, then what is happening to the child? Can someone help me? If you provide the food, you provide the atmosphere, environment, you give all the whatever the child growth is required, and child is not growing, what is happening? Child is dying. So spiritually, when we have a balanced life, you have a good sadhana, you have a good association, you have a good readings, Prabhupada's books, you have a good time to hear, you have a good association with devotees. Prabhus and mothers, you must grow spiritually. Otherwise, you are dying spiritually. Some contamination has come, maybe criticism or some gossip or this, that, which will be always there in this world, in case if you ever wonder. It will be always there. This material world is made up like this. So that's what Krishna says on the second verse, I find. Then third verse, Krishna says, those who refuse to have faith in this knowledge, Prabhus and mothers, it's scary. You cannot attain Krishna or you cannot advance. And we also discussed the faith comes from two sources. One source, it's coming from you directly. Means you have to develop a strong desire. I want to advance. And Prabhus and mothers, advancement means, progression means two things: new selection, new elimination. That's what advancement means. So when you're advancing, you will face a lot of challenges. It's a natural, Prabhupada says, it's natural. Whenever you are advancing in spiritual path, new doubt will come, new challenge will come. Means you are actually advancing, but crossing over, transcending those challenges is the sign of advancement or advancing. So this is very important. So faith was the three things: ajnanascha, asaddadhanascha, samsaya atma vinashati. Three ways you can push yourself down, Prabhus and mothers. I hope you remember that. One was agyan. You have some ignorance, and we discussed there is a many types of ignorance. Ignorance, generally, when we say Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. That has a four types of ignorance. Means I think body as a self, this sense enjoyment. It's very funny. One Gurukul boy told me, Prabhu, if we had a sense enjoyment for a long time, or at least forever, then we don't have to go to spiritual world. We literally think sense enjoyment is the highest happiness. I mean, I'm not saying you all, but one Gurukuli boy really told me, I won't say the name because I love him too. He said, I said, you really have no idea about spiritual happiness. I don't, but I have a strong faith on it. You're talking about 1,000 trillion times than whatever sex enjoyment or whatever enjoyment you have experienced. 1,000 trillion. Now, what is 1,000 trillion? I don't know. You figure it out. It's beyond my calculation. The happiness they get. That's why they never give up. You never hear an advanced pure devotee give up because of that. Okay, so then comes, we discuss about the faith. Why does faith wane? Also, we discuss if there is a faith, understanding will follow. As your understanding increases, so will you disgust with the spell of Maya or illusory energy. When you voluntarily give up your entanglement in the material world, then progress is assured, Prabhupada says. I remember that it was in perfect question, perfect answer. Then we talked about also text 4 and 5 was a, how do you say, for a impersonalist is the most important verse. For us also important, but we have Manmana Bhavamat Bhakta is more important. The last sloka of this chapter and 1865 is more important to us, according to Prabhupada. So then we are going to text 6. Text 6. No, text 6 actually we did last week. I'm looking at the book. All jivas being rest in Krishna like mighty wind blows everywhere, rest always in the sky. So we read that. So we are going to begin.
4 and 5, Prabhu. Actually, I was in April. So last week we discussed about the Narasimha Chaturdasi, May 3rd. And before week only 4th and 5. Prabhu.
So we did 4 and 5. 6
and
we
5.
didn't do it?
No, Prabhu. I think so.
Okay, so let us start. Who would like to read the sloka and translation? Help me with that. Anybody has Bhagavad Gita in front?
Hare Krishna, Babuji. Can I read?
Yes.
Thank you.
One second, Prabhu. Mother Sushilpa, you have a raised hand. Are you trying to say something, Mother?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam,
Dandavat.
devotees. Prabhuji, one, if you can add more on balancing, spiritually balancing, that would be very helpful. All I know is the 4 regulative principles and reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all that you have mentioned on a high level, but I would like to know more if there are any. What do you mean by perfectly balancing, spiritually balanced?
Okay, sure. You want me to speak now or after?
It's up to you, Prabhuji. Anything is fine.
Well, I'm asking question. Can somebody help me? Philip, what would you like to hear now, the balancing, or you want to hear later?
Yeah, I want to hear now. That's a good question. I'm curious too.
Okay. Chapter 15, that's where I got this idea. Chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. If you look at it, God is a systematic God. Krishna is actually systematic God. So what I mentioned, the nutrition food to grow. If child is healthy, Mother Sushilpa, you think, if child is healthy, naturally he or she will grow. So therefore, we must make our life, devotional life, healthy enough in order to grow. Growth comes from health, and health comes from balance. In a practical sense, you'll agree what Krishna was giving in chapter 15. When we come to chapter 15, we'll discuss that more. But what I remember, that growth, even material growth, just like for a child, I'm saying, the child's growth will come from health. And where the health will come from? Health will come from balance. So, balance in a sense, the child has a good food, good care, mother is taking care of the child is playing, child has all the facilities. You don't have to command the child, hey child, are you growing or not? You don't have to command. You don't have to, it's or naturally. So we began our focus from, for a devotee, whatever level you are, you should always focus next level. Don't just keep on going, well, what am I doing? Chanting 16 round, trying to finish, honoring prasadam, that's all. We'll do some hari now. No, that's activities. That is service. It will benefit definitely. But behind all this, you have to have a purpose driven. What am I trying to reach? There has to be goal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Sambandha, Avideya and Prayuja. Mahaprabhu did not say just do devotional service. He said you have to do devotional service to reach the goal. So we have to have a purpose-driven life. And we can discuss every week a little bit more and more. So when we begin our focus, okay, what level am I? What is the next level? I want to go there. Then it will push you from within and you will reach. Because our relationship with other devotees, when we have a goal, our relationship with other devotee will produce a taste. If it is not producing the taste to grow, you will say, I don't want to talk to that devotee much. You're not looking down, but you'll say, it's not helping me. I want to have association with those devotees who actually helping me to go further spiritually. So you make your choice for a higher because you have a goal to reach. But if you don't have a goal to reach, there's no impetus, I feel. And like for an example, when I was mentioning, like in your body, if you look at your body, human body, just human body, you have a brain, you have a heart, you have a stomach, you have a lungs, you have a tooth. It's a fact because one devotee was complaining his tooth was hurting. And you have eyes, your skeleton system has to be fit. If a part of your bones broken, but you have a good digestive system, Prabhu, I can eat and digest, I have no problem. But my bone broke, I am in pain. Well, so then digestive system itself is enough, not enough. Now, if you have a skeleton system is working good, bone, say, digestive system is working good, but your respiratory system is not good, COVID or whatever, then you are in danger again. So just to have a healthy, balanced body, you need a balance. So your brain has to work properly, your eyes has to work properly, your heart has to pump, air or oxygen. It has to work properly. Your stomach has to work properly. Your tooth has to work properly. Your lungs has to work properly. Everything. When everything works perfect, you are called healthy. This is what balancing means. Every part of your body in a proper, well set, and it will go on. So in our spiritual growth also, we need clear balance. Balance in the body system means health, and health means growth. So similarly, in spiritual life, I remember Jamuna Devi, Prabhupada's disciple, she said something like, she said, Prabhupada told, because we don't have the association of devotee, we cannot make any advancement. So Srila Prabhupada says association can be 2 or 200. It was very interesting discussion. But then he says, but you must be compatible. Then I was thinking, what Prabhupada trying to say? You can have a 2 friend or 200 friend, but if you're not compatible, then you cannot go back to Godhead. What does that mean? Means, are they also have the same goal? Do you have the same goal? Do you want to advance? And the other person is complaining about the management or offense or criticizing the leader, then it's not possible. We are not on the same, you can say, incompatible, not compatible association. Srila Prabhupada says, temple leaders or community leaders means they should see that everybody is growing. You can ask any leader anywhere in ISKCON, did Prabhupada wants you to see that in your community, in your temple, in your house, or whatever the leader is, that everybody is spiritually growing? Yes, they will agree, I'm sure, because they heard what Prabhupada says. So this is very important. Just like for an example, sometime our life, Mataji, that sometime our life driven by many things, sometime driven by tradition. I'm serious, devotee. What do you do? I go to Ratha Jatra. Every Ratha Jatra I go. I don't miss. Are you chanting also 16 rounds? Well, it's difficult. I chant few rounds. Well, your growth will not be there. But I go to Ratha Jatra. Every chariot festival, I'm there. Yes, this is one part of the spiritual balancing. You're just focusing on one. Don't take it personally. Some devotees are very focused on chanting, but other limbs of the bhakti, they are not aware or not interested. What about hearing classes every day? Well, can't I just chant and go back home? When you ask that question, it's very difficult to answer. Yes and no. But to get pure chanting, you have to hear Bhagavatam. So you have to explain like this. Eh? Then you have to have an association. If you have a doubt, then the doubt has to be removed. Sometimes we see our life driven by personalities. Don't take it personally, but I saw in my own experience, sometimes some of our leader, like somebody really good, and because of that personality's presence, I also become encouraged. I see hundreds of devotees become encouraged, and they're chanting, they're going, they're going, they're going, they're going. But then what happened? In the beginning, we may neglect some occasional problems. Some instance of these kinds of deviation may be ignored. But if we find that we are becoming more prevalent, then we must inspect the situation carefully. And we are to bring it to persons similar to my position. And after consultation, we can take the matter to higher sources and consult other leaders who are more advanced. Then we find that what appeared to us first in a small way is real, injurious, a big magnitude, that our spiritual master is going down. It happened in ISKCON. That's why I'm just throwing those. We must act to save ourselves, Prabhus and mothers. We must try to take step which may save us from that epidemic contamination. We must try to save ourselves. Always we should do that. We must also try to save others who might fall prey to the same exploitation as us. Of course, that must be done in all sincerity. There is the possibility, it is mentioned in the Shastra. I personally read few slokas. So many practical examples are also there. So we must not make progress in a slumber, but we must go forward with our eyes always opened. Shastric eyes. The other side of this, driven by personalities, like I saw, I won't say the name because you all know them. When they were there, some of their disciples were so fired up. Then they left. And some of the disciples are okay. Some of the disciples found helpless. They don't feel that energy anymore. And they slacken their spiritual life. And they were not taught to balance their life all the time. They are not taught they should have purpose-driven life. So as a result, they literally go down in spiritual life. They don't give any more importance because that personality is not there who would motivate them. So that's also, we have to be aware. Sometimes I see the community driven by finances. I saw with John Nivas Prabhu was here. He's still here, another 3 months. And with his group, I was talking to them. I said there are some devotee who loves raising fund for TOBP or some temple project. But we also have to help their spiritual other things. Just to raise fund or giving donation doesn't mean they will go to spiritual world or go to Krishna. They have to actually uplift their consciousness, elevate their consciousness to a point where they actually love Krishna, develop love Krishna. Giving money is good. I'm not saying anything wrong. It's just that I'm just saying there has to be balance. Sometimes we see also, our life sometimes driven by the programs. Prabhu, I go every Wednesday Bhagavad Gita class. That's my life. Krishna consciousness life is every Wednesday I attend Bhagavad Gita class. Are you chanting every day? Are you doing sadhana in the morning? Are you hearing the Bhagavatam? No, but I join every Wednesday on Bhagavad Gita. Well, that's good, but it's not going to take you to Krishna. It will take long time. But if you have a balanced life, you will not go down. You will only progress. Now, did I knew this before? No. But since I started, I see that it's working. What Prabhupada says, this purpose-driven life, that we should. Mahaprabhu said this. I find now so many verses backing the similar. Sometimes our life also driven by, I live in a big temple, Mayapur, or big, New Vrindavan or Alachua, farm community. It's a big community. That's good. Are you chanting every day? Are you doing some practical service to the Lord? No, I just don't have a time. But you live in Mayapur for what? Or you live in Alachua for what? It's a big community. I understand. That's good. But that's not enough. There has to be balance. Balance means every part of the body has to work for it to grow. Sometimes we find driven by events, Janmashtami, big festival, lot of devotees, Sunday feast. I personally interviewed many devotee comes to Sunday feast. And then I personally just want to help, honestly. I say, I'm so happy that I see you every Sunday. How is life going in general? Everything is okay? You say, yeah, just struggling, children's school and this, that. I said, that's very nice. What about hearing Prabhupada's lecture every day? Do you have time? Honestly, no. I said, do you hear any Harikatha every day? 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Once in a while, I said, then you are lacking. You will not see the substantial growth in your life spiritually. You feel like limbo. It's like you're not going anywhere. You're like stuck. I don't know if any one of you ever feel like this. This is because we don't have a balanced life. We have to have a balanced life. Balance means all the limbs of the bhakti that require sadhu sangha, nama kirtan, bhagavat shravan, then association of a good devotee association, seeing the deity's form every day. It's so important just to look at the deity form every day because we have impersonal contamination. And you can say many ways. Like even some devotee comes to temple, I watch purposely. Some devotees just go, Kornita, very nice. Okay, next Radha Shyam Sundar. Oh, very nice. Next Krishna Balaram. Good, nice. Okay, I'm done. What did you look? You're not paying attention to the details. Why can't you observe? Because the contamination of impersonalism is there in our consciousness. It's very funny. Someone says, if you come to temple and the Nitai Gaur has no ornaments, no turban, nothing, just a hair, little chadar and little dhoti. How long can you stare? Why can they put ornament? I said, no, I'm just asking. Are you looking at the ornaments or are you looking at the person, God, Supreme God? It is important. We need to help each other to emphasize why Prabhupada says that just overlooking just for few moments each deity is impersonalism contaminant. Now it's good that you're looking, eventually you will be absorbed. You should. Because these vidhi, these rituals that we do, can build a bridge to spontaneous love. Spontaneous love for God will not come all of a sudden. Hey, I woke up from my bed, now I feel love for God. It's not going to happen. No, it's an illusion to think like that. Narottam Das Thakur says, Vidhi bhakte rata jane, sadhinata ratna dane, rago marge koreno pravesh. Very sweet song he writes. Vidhi bhakti rata jane. Every day we have to do those and think. My purpose is I want to be absorbed in their beautiful face, beautiful, attractive features. Of course, pure love, they see the pure beauty and they cry. I don't have that, but how it is going to develop, not by just imagining or ignoring or neglecting the process, by paying more attention and spending more, spending more. I don't know in any one of you ever experienced like you go to Sunday feast or any big festival, you got a plate of prasadam. This is my own observation, I saw. And so we are in a group, and other devotees say, I like this piece of barfi, it's like it. And then other devotee, I won't say that name, say, I didn't get the barfi. So I was thinking like, why can't we be satisfied and focus on what we got? But instead of focusing what we didn't get, because it's a natural way that, okay, I have access right now to look at the deity or to chant the name. Why can't I pay attention and chant? Why think like in future? Why not now? So this is important. We should not have just driven by events. And also I saw another group amongst us, their spiritual life growth driven by scripture study. Haribol, we're going to have a nectar of devotion. Oh, okay. When? Every Thursday. Okay. Whole week. Some of the devotees are serious. They do all the balancing, hopefully. And some only focus on that Thursday, nectar of devotion. If you ask few questions, why only my life should be driven by scripture study? Scripture studies, why not every day and with others? Why only once a week? Why only that will be my main focus? So when we ask those questions, we also find there is another group. I mean, some of you, I'm sure, felt like this. Our life sometimes driven by like seekers, that mentality. I saw like, they would say, let's be open, speak with our constituency, speak with our community, our guests, see what they feel, the different things we present again. I would like to strongly encourage you to think deeply about who you are practicing for. Is it for you or ask yourself, are you happy where you are and what you are looking forward, or are you not looking forward anything? You're just happy where you are. It is not, spiritual life is not stagnant, first of all. Spiritual life is dynamic, means you have to progress, constant progress. And if you are not constantly progressing, then something need to be examined. Must be. I think I mentioned before once, how do you measure your success? I was showing a picture of a Charlie Brown with person. This is from a cartoon. Because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur depicts like this, and I was trying to put it into a cartoon to see. And so one guy says, "Hey, Charlie Brown, what are you doing?" He said, "I want to make sure that I am actually striking to the target." It's about why you shot the arrow first, and then you put in circle around it. He said, "It's easy. First you shoot the arrow, then you just take your paintbrush and say, 'Look, I hit the target.'" I don't know if any one of you getting the point. So you chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You know where you're heading? Yeah, we are going to go back home, back to Garden. Well, that's a good idea. But how do you know you are actually in the GPS of going back home, back to Garden? Are you checking what the next level is supposed to be? So when we have this doubt, we may have things like, well, let's put a circle. Yeah, see what I'm doing? It's supposed to be leading to that. Maybe that's not the proper way. It's better you make the circle and put a dot in the center, and then you shoot the arrow. Not that you shoot the arrow and then you make a circle. Okay, I made it. No, it's not. I'm not trying to discourage, but it may take few lives. If you really want to make it in one life, you better pay attention and just go with that. So that's what the balancing life I was mentioning. And to have a balancing life, 5 things one should have. You have your purpose-driven life. In Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 65 to 69, Krishna explains this. You do 5 things, you get 2 things. So I'll tell you what you get. 1868. Ajit Prabhu or Kamaniya Prabhu, 18.68. If you open that book, you can read it. Jaidam paramam guyam mad bhaktishu avidashyati bhaktim mayi param krita mame vasya shasamsa. If you have it, can you read the translation?
I'm pulling it up.
Okay. And see if you can get these 2 things from this. What we are looking for, you will get these 2 things. But provided you do the 5 things.
Okay. 1868, I have it.
Yes.
Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidhaya sati bhaktim maya param kartva mam evashyati asamsaya. Text. You want me to read the word by word?
No, translation just enough.
Okay. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotee, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me.
Okay. So who got it? 2 things. You will get Prem Bhakti, Krishna says. And second is, you will go back home, back to Godhead, without doubt. Asamshaya, the word is there. Samshaya means doubt. Asamshaya, without doubt. So Krishna says, if you do this, then you will get this. What are the 5 things you have to do? You have to develop that relationship. You have to develop that relationship that everything is connected with Krishna. Not by saying, but perceiving. Perceiving. You literally see that everything is connected. How do you see that? By contemplating. Sambandha Gyan. What is your relationship with Krishna? What is Krishna's relationship with you? What is your relationship with material nature? What is material nature relationship with you? What is material nature, relationship with Krishna, Krishna's relation. These 6 questions, you make a little journal and write it, and try to develop them every day. And then you will see, as I mentioned, knowledge means, Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur says, 5 things also should develop. That's another 5 things. That you gather, you acquire knowledge. That's good. You are acquiring knowledge. But then next is your drishti or perception has to keep on changing always, advancing. Perspective. You develop, you become you have a new perspective. Then within you, Prabhu's and Mother, you will have a conviction. You know, conviction, the word conviction means what you will die for. I don't care. I'm going to be devotee, I'm going to be devotee. Doesn't matter, I'm sick or whatever happened, I have a bad karma, doesn't matter. I'm not going to give up. You'll die for, you'll come to that conviction. That is required. From where? By hearing and focusing on this. And fourth is you develop a skill. Skill is like you are good at managing your time. You are good at managing your time. You are good at finances, whatever like you need. You are good at relationship with your family, with the children, with friends, with the devotees. You're learning the skill how to become. And then final point, he said, characters. You become an ideal character, a good devotee. Just like Prabhupada has a perfect character. Not that he didn't get angry. He was angry when he needed. He was also very gentle when he's needed. The anger doesn't control him, but he utilized all the emotions for advancing in spiritual path. So that's very good. So 5 things. First is sambandha, awareness that Krishna has a connection with everyone, relationship with everyone. Second is you become devotee. You think like to become a devotee. Where I am, how do I become better devotee? What the advancement to be? Then third is serve. This mental attitude. You are made as a servant of Krishna. Now in this material world, service is like I need rest. Yeah, because we have a material body. Yes, you have to have a balance. You have to take care of your body. Prabhupada said this in the beginning. He said, before 4 regulative principle, first rule was take care of your body. Because if you don't have a good body, how are you going to serve? So serve means taking care of your body also. Have a proper balance of diet, exercise, or whatever is required. We need to maintain this healthy body to serve him. But the purpose is to serve. Then fourth is surrender to him. Surrender to him. Of course, there is a 6 limbs, and first limbs, second limbs are the functional, and the other 4 are internal, intentional. Like Krishna will protect me. I have strong faith. I'm holding it. Okay, nobody sees that. That is internal. It's your belief you developing. Krishna will always protect me. But first 2 are the functional. First 2 functional is like we are discussing right now, Bhagavad Gita. Is this pleasing Krishna? Yes. Krishna says this. Anybody discuss this, it pleases him. Okay, this is good. I'm aware that what I'm doing, it's pleasing. Okay, can I not do something that will please also? Yes. Talking about politics, nonsense, offense, or criticizing some devotee. I don't want to do that. That also pleases him. Yes. This is what the first 2 limbs. Anukulasya sankalpa, pratikulasya bharjanam. You can translate many ways. And one of the translation is always looking what I'm doing at this moment. Is this pleasing Krishna? What I'm not doing, is this pleasing Krishna? If we have this forefront, then we can march, marching like a military, marching towards the destiny. Very nice. So that's called surrender. And the fifth is share this knowledge, distribute this knowledge. So if we do this 5 purpose driven, then you have a solid life, you have a balanced life. And make sure all these 5 is every day you check with each one. Within you. And this is required. How do you bring people share this knowledge? The last one, we also made I remember one discussion we had, that first Krishna says, bring people to hear about Krishna first. Second, give them association. Give them association means you have to create a facility that they will be eager to hear. If we don't create a facility, we just say, okay, I had a talk with this guy. That's not enough. You say, if you like this food you liked, you call me. Or if you can give me your phone number, I'll invite you. I would like to invite you for a feast we make. Make some contact. You create a facility where that soul will get association. And then third is train them up in Krishna consciousness. I know you are very busy. Can you give me 10 minutes every day? 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. You will become better person. You are already a very good person, but you will see within yourself a higher level conscious being. If you give me 10 minutes, people will agree. They do. Then you introduce chant 1 rounds, 2 rounds. Then get little taste, then they will come. But it's required little, it's not easy, but really you have to spend time. And if you do, before we were thinking like counting number is very important. But nowadays I think, no. Prabhupada, in the preface, before he signed his name, he said even 1 person become serious in spiritual path, Prabhupada will think it is success. So even each of us make ourselves pure devotee and make one other pure devotee. Prabhupada will be happy. Krishna will be happy. We don't have to have tons of people. Not necessarily. So then the last one is give them some engagement in bhakti. Say, when they come forward, can you do on Sunday, can you come and enjoy the feast? And they start coming. He said, would you like to help me here just to clean up this place so that people can just take prasadam here? Sure. They feel happy, believe or not, they feel happy when they get some opportunity to serve. So like this. And then you train them slowly, and then you make them a good person. And then through them, you invite others, their whole family, their friend, their brother, sister, like this. So this is how Krishna consciousness movement will grow. Our own example and also helping others to come up. Okay, Mother Sushilpa, I'm sorry, I took long time to. Okay, you are writing something. Or you can say it loudly so other can hear also.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It's never too long when you speak. All very useful information, Prabhuji, for advancement. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
is that 5 things clear? Purpose driven.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. What was the first thing?
To develop a relationship.
Develop the relationship with Krishna. Please go ahead,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Krishna means everything is related to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. That vision is to develop. That's good. Good. Very good. Second,
Become a devotee.
yes. Becoming devotee means you have to take care of your health, make sure you chant. It's like so many things. Make sure you have an association, make sure you study. Even if you don't have much time, at least 10 minutes, but every day. Satata kirtayantama. Every day. Then it will grow slowly, slowly. As the attraction grows, you will see the facility will develop. So that's good. And hearing and reading, also making little your own realization, what you understood today's discussion, like this. Slowly, slowly. That's good. What is the third?
So becomes Krishna's servant, Prabhu.
Good. Serving. Serving.
Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Generally, I mean, you don't see much. Sometimes you see some people comes to temple and they stand in the back with the folded hand like this. And I mean, it's good that they have come, but it's our duty to help them come little more closer. You can loosen your hand and pray to God. Sit down, look at the deity nicely, hear some harikatha, take some prasadam. These are service also. Service is serving other people to come to Krishna is also service to Krishna. Helping other devotees to advance further is also serving to Krishna. Serving Krishna doesn't mean only dressing the deity or offering puja. Ramanujacharya gave a 5 definition. Abhigamanam. He says, even if you're driving from your house, you go into temple. Okay, I'm going to temple. That's already service. Your service already began. Your mentality that you want to go to see the Lord, you want to see the devotees, that your service already started. And then you come to temple, you pay obeisances, you do some stuti, you, with the devotee dance, chant, sing. That's another type of service. Then there is another type of service who is in the altar doing the arati. And then there is another type of devotee who actually give a classes or discuss the glorious position of Krishna. So generally, we think when worshipping Krishna means like you go to the altar. That's not the only way to worship. All 5 are together worshipping. Like somebody is cooking for Lord, the same as worshipping. There's no difference. Somebody cleaning the temple for others to come and see the Lord. What is the value of a king if there is no kingdom or citizen? So what is the same? Similar, you can look at it. Krishna means, God means, people need to be invited to come and they should feel it's a place where they feel happy. Clean place, nice prasadam, nice people. This is what the attraction. Then they will slowly, slowly join and they will advance. Of course, in Golok Vrindavan, it's a emblem. Everything is perfect, but we are in material world. It's not that we'll go to Golok Vrindavan then. No, we have to train ourselves now with other reciprocation. So that's good. And what is number 4?
Surrender to Krishna, Prabhu, by
Surrender to
6
Krishna.
by 6 limbs,
6 limbs.
of which first and second are the functional. That is that one is the Anukula and Pratikulla, Anukulla, just what are the positive things that we have to acquire. That means we have to do that positive things, and what is the negative things that we need to have to get rid of it. And
That's good. That's very good, Prabhu. And the last, final? What is the number 5?
Sharing the knowledge.
Very good. This we should think every day. This is how you balance your spiritual. Balance means, what does the balance means?
Grow
Let's go
strong.
backward. Health means growth. If you have a good health, you are growing. If you are not growing, then you are dying, going opposite. If child is not growing, then child will die. But when child has a balanced life, child will grow. In bhakti, if bhakta has balance these 5 things together, he will grow. He or she will definitely grow. And this is so important. And if he's not growing, means there is no balance. Balance means health. Health means growth. As I made already 2 times on this, that you don't have to command a healthy atmosphere, health, all the facilities given to a child. You don't have to command, hey, grow, grow. No, naturally growth will be visible. So if we have all these 5 together, we'll see spiritual growth within us. And it will attract others who wants to also grow. So thank you. That was very nice question. Today's very nice. I think we ran out of time. So we will do text 6 next week. Is that okay? Any other discussion or any other takeaway or anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat, if you allow me, I have one curiosity onto the same. So, Prabhuji, as you mentioned the 5 things very nicely. So, what are how do we measure them? Like, as you said that we should, contemplate on the same on a daily basis. So, how do we measure that? Whether I progress from yesterday or last week, or like any kind of pointers you can give us. That way, we can compare and see that whether we are going back or, or moving ahead. Thank you.
Well, spiritual growth, first symptom is you're steady. You're not weak. You're becoming very steady. Nothing going to pull or push you down. We discussed that when you have deeper understanding means your root is very deeply. When deeply rooted, strong wind, strong wind, one ISKCON Guru fell down. There is some scandal. The COVID. I mean, you all experienced the COVID. There will be always something in the material world. Always something. You wonder why Prabhupada says, don't be surprised how many people go away or fell down or didn't progress. But be surprised that how many actually stayed and sustained. That should be looked up. Because in material world, if you are in the water, in a boat and not get wet, wow, this is very good. Because waves are coming, splash is going, but you are not getting wet because you are careful. Then that means you are doing good. So steady first. Bhakti paresh anubhava virakti annatra. There is a 9 symptom, but let's focus on 3 symptoms today, and then we'll discuss next week other 9 symptoms. You are satisfied deep down in your heart. When you eat Prabhu sweet rice, I don't have to tell you, please make sure you taste it. I don't have to tell you. You'll automatically you will see that. Yes, I am very satisfied in this process. Yes, I want to help. Naturally within you, you feel like more bhakti arising in the heart, tenderness towards others will develop as a concomitant. You cannot separate it. Nobody can say, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you cannot say I'm advancing and I'm not feeling compassion towards others. No, that's a byproduct, will automatically arise. Because you will see that people are like, oh my God, how can I help? This soul is just going to lose this human birth and he's going to go to animal life. You feel like a pain sometime within you. Means you are advancing actually. It is not a pain in a bad sense. It is in a good sense that your compassionate heart is arising. How? Because you are advancing in bhakti. When there was a big friction going on outside, some kind of riots or something, and Prabhupada had tears, and devotee says, Prabhupada, are you okay? He said, yes, it's terrible. Why people kill each other, but not advancing in Krishna consciousness. They're not coming. They're just killing each other and wasting this life completely uselessly. Now he feel pain. These things will happen to in our heart. We'll feel pain like that. And birakti annatra. Birakti means you feel like you don't have any desire to become successful materially. You don't care whether people respect you or not, whether you have a Lamborghini or some good car or cheap car, doesn't matter. It doesn't really disturb you. You feel like a utility is the principle. You don't care about whether you have a material, material, whatever, hankering or not, you're losing the taste for it. Or you lost the taste. That means you are actually advancing. So Sambandha Gyan arises, detachment developing. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Janati Asu Vairaggam Gyanam Chajat Ahetukam. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga. When we do bhakti, this Sambandha Gyan, relationship, this idea will develop more and more. I see that, Prabhu. Even within me, I'm not advancing anything, but I see that when you see the souls that, oh, they have a relationship with Krishna, but how can they will live a life without that? They'll just die and just go to, no man's land or, like horrible next birth because they didn't know Krishna. But then if you go there and impose your idea, they may not like it. Hey, I'm not interested. So you have to think, how do I plan? How to create an atmosphere where this person will take it? It's like you really come up with the idea. Prabhupada was the genius about engagement. It's unbelievable how he was engaging. The first lecture Prabhupada got, I mentioned this once before. First lecture he got. So he had the Bhagavatam from India. He just came from India. So there was a big club, and Allen Ginsberg, who was a very good well-wisher, he told Prabhupada, Swamiji, his name was Swamiji, not Prabhupada at that time. This is very early. He says, I have a little gathering, hippie gathering place, and you can come and speak. And Prabhupada said, that will be great. So he got the Bhagavatam. He himself carried the Bhagavatam, the big box. And so he sat in the back of the stage audience. And at one point, one man came next to him and he said, oh, you look like the man who is going to speak today. I saw that in a outside board, so I thought of listening. Prabhupada said, yes. He said, oh, good, good. So at that time, Allen Ginsberg was talking to the audience with some poems. He's a poet. And so it was very interesting. And that Prabhupada told him, he said, can you do me a favor? He said, what do you need? He said, these are my books. Can you take care of it while I'm speaking? It's a first time meeting, he has no idea this Western elderly person came. And within a moment, they called his name, so he went there. And he gave the speech, and at the end he says, but some of you may be interested to hear more. Please buy a book. My friend is having all my books in the back. Now he made him his friend. He just met like a few minutes before, and he gave the speech. And then he told the man from there to the microphone, please collect, take the donation, $5, and you can give the book, whoever comes. So I was thinking, like, how did he engage him? It was like just like this. Any facility would come, he would engage. This little act, Prabhu, this little act that my man's life saved. Even if he died, didn't become devotee, he will take birth, human birth. Again, he will come in contact with some sadhu in ISKCON or somewhere, and then he will be given a chance. He doesn't go back home, back to Godhead, because he has to choose, but he will be given a chance. Sunday feast, Prabhupada didn't have much money. He had a lot of coins. He would put in nuts on his uttariya. He went to buy groceries. So in the grocery stores, he picked things in his cart. And he comes to the register. And this girl, those days, they still had some electronic registration. She punched the number, adding, and he said, sir, it's $7.56. So Prabhupada opened his wallet, in a sense, is like a little nuts of a cloth. In India, saintly people, or even I saw they carry the money in their, end of the sari or end of the dhoti or somewhere like that, put it. So Prabhupada had on uttariya, he didn't have a wallet like it. And he opened it, he looked at the number, and he gave $2. He said, this is more than anybody would give. So this lady looking at $2 and says $7.56. Sir, it's $7.50. Prabhupada say, yes, I read, I can read, I see that. But he didn't have that much, But he has to cook Sunday feast with his money. He will cut the sabji, he was doing everything. But interesting thing, this girl says, but sir, this is $7.50. Prabhupada again opened his wallet, he gave 56 cents. Okay. Now $2.56, more than anybody would give. Now, he comes from Calcutta, we have to understand, and Vrindavan. A place where bargain is natural. But in America, you don't go to grocery store and bargain. So I look at that way, saying like, now Prabhupada is using this logic that this is more than anybody would give. Why are you here in New York, this like this? Maybe nowadays, some bargain maybe is there. But those days, there was no such thing. So this girl, young Western body girl, she said, okay, 1 minute. She reached out her own purse, took out $5 and said, sir, I'm giving for you. And she smiled and she opened the drawer and his $2.56 and her $5 together, and Prabhupada took. And Prabhupada smiled, said, thank you. Now, whether Prabhupada understood or not, we don't know. That she actually did a favor. Of course, he said thank you, and he understood. But whether, still the, bargaining is legal or not, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say that, report. But after Prabhupada left this world, this girl actually came in contact. Radhanath Maharaj gives the story that she was crying. He said, this man was unbelievably compassionate. I could not resist, but did this. And she started chanting. But it took some time, but she came back to Krishna consciousness. Of course, those days there was no ISKCON, but little service to a pure devotee for this changed her whole life, even though she's a beef eater in a Western body. So like this, Prabhupada was compassionate, even though he didn't have a money or anything, but he started. He was not praying for money either. But his vision was very clear. So if we have a vision clear, purpose-driven life, facility will come. Facility will come when time comes. Okay, thank you for paying attention. We
Thank
are
you so
looking
much.
forward to see you all next Wednesday. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpataru vishya kripa sindhu bhaivacha. Patitanam pavane